Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves, the Prime Minister of Great Britain and the Chancellor of Exchequer, of course, of Great Britain, face a really tough task ahead. Why? Well, I talked about the Mario Draghi report in one of the earlier videos, and I said that the EU is planning, or the European Commission, the EC, is planning to put in 800 billion euros of investment. Why? Because investment in the EU has been low at 22% of the GDP. They want to raise it by 5 percentage points to 27%. Guess what? In the UK, investment is just 20%. And it's lower than the EU. And for 24 out of 30 of the last 30 years, the UK has had the lowest investment in the G7. So of the top 7 economies in the world, the UK has had the lowest investment in 24 out of the last 30 years. Let that fact sink in. So UK has a major problem. Years of underinvestment have to be rectified if the UK wants to be globally competitive. Otherwise, of course, the British can be like the Romans who eventually turned into Italians. So Keir Starmer recognizes that. Keir Starmer is talking about investment. Keir Starmer on Monday, 14th of October, did a huge investment summit in which he had the captains of industry and talked about how Britain is a great place to do business and how they will slash regulation. And in a chat with Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, he said that wealth creation is the #1 mission of his Labour government. Well, that's quite a statement from a party where once Karl Marx ruled the roost, at least philosophically. It's a far cry from the days of Michael Foot. So, whilst he said all of that, remember, the UK government has run years of deficits. So, the government can't really invest. In fact, the government has, they first said a 22 billion pound hole, and now they are saying a 40 billion pound hole of over-budgeted expenditure by the previous Conservative government, led of course by Rishi Sunak. But it wasn't entirely his fault. Again, COVID happened, other things happened. But bottom line is that the UK has been spending more than it has been earning for a while. It's been running deficits for a while, and it has to repair its public finances. So, on the one hand, UK needs more investment. On the other hand, the UK government has to tighten its belt and balance its books. So, to do so, to balance the books, it'll have to cut expenditure and or raise taxes. Now, cutting expenditure is politically very problematic. If you've had years of underinvestment and the National Health Service, the NHS, needs to do better, be better, you have to invest. So you can cut some funding or maybe a lot of funding to some other departments, but you have limited leeway. So you have to raise taxes. So there's talk of raising the capital gains taxes. There's talk of raising payroll taxes. There's talk of taking away inheritance tax relief. All of this will bring in significant chunks of money to the government, billions of dollars. Estimates differ, but it could be 20 billion, it could be 15 billion, 14 billion. It'll certainly plug the hole. But then it makes Britain a less desirable place to invest if you're raising taxes. And in fact, directors of publicly listed companies have been selling their shares at double the rate as they did before. Apparently, they were selling 14 million per week before the victory of the Labour Party, and now they are selling 31 million pounds worth of shares every week. Why? Because they want to cash in their gains before capital gains goes up. So Britain is going through a bit of nervousness on the part of those with capital as a place to invest, but at the same time, it is private investment that will deliver growth, which Keir Starmer said actually quite brilliantly. He said, your job is to grow your business, my job is to grow the economy of my country. Words to that effect. And that is precisely what he has to do, or he and Rachel Reeves have to do. And to do that, they will have to come up with supporting companies who are already strong in traditional areas where Britain has done well, whether it is defense technology, jet engines, AI. And the Nobel Prize winner, the Prime Minister mentioned, is a Brit this year, and he's an AI guru. So there are traditional industries they'll have to back, and they'll have to figure out how to back. And at the same time, they will have to make sure that they do not, whilst increasing taxes, they do not kill the golden goose or the goose that lays the golden egg. So it's a very narrow, a very small needle to thread. And therein lies the challenge for a Prime Minister and a Chancellor in an economy where there's a massive cost of living crisis. I took the train to Marlow, I passed through Slough, I passed through some other towns, I talked to the taxi driver, and he said times have changed completely in the last 30 years. At that time it was easy to send his 4 children to school. Two of them are accountants, one is a lawyer and one is a teacher. Britain was an extraordinary place. Now his kids are finding it much harder, even though they are in white collar jobs, to have the same quality of life that he did. There of course is the productivity issue. Just like Europe, productivity hasn't risen in the UK to the same degree. Having said that, the UK has many strengths. The UK has a strong education system. The quality of life is good. The rule of law is strong. And post-Brexit, yes, businesses have suffered enormously with their costs going up, with their revenues going down, but still with continuity, political continuity now, and a commitment to investment. It is like a dirty shirt you have if you're a global investor, but it is the least, or it is one of the less dirty of the shirts you have. So with a bit of nimble footing, it seems that both Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves might just muddle through.
Join the conversation at Fair Observer and subscribe to our YouTube channel.